Decisions today, most notably Ryan Graves, just based on the parameters of his contract. And I know that's more Kyle's area in terms of the arithmetic there, but just from the coaching, playing perspective, just what did you see from Ryan and what in this preseason and what led to that decision?
Yeah, it was obviously it was a very tough decision. It's not one that anybody takes lightly. It's a lot of conversations, a lot of thought, and right now it's not just it's about him, but it's also there's other people too that are competing for spots, and some of it's also other people came in, and we felt like the defensemen that we're currently with, that we're moving forward with as of today, are the ones that we felt like are in the best position for us to start the season. I think with Ryan, there's plenty of good moments in his camp too, and it's a competitive camp, and you had a lot of defensemen, and we knew this coming in that there was going to be some really hard decisions in all spots. I think you go into it too, that you look at the training camp roster, you knew that the defense was going to be extremely difficult, and it was. And so, we feel like for him, we'll see where things go here, over the next day in terms of if it gets claimed or if it is a situation where he's going to Wilkes-Barre and to go down there and play and get his game in the best place possible and see where it goes from there. But it was competitive, and we've just felt like the 8 that were with us as of today, this was the group that we felt best suited moving forward. And part of it is also on those other guys too, and the work that they put in to make it a very, very difficult decision.
And with Sergey, how much of that decision is based on just the long-term development for him, just where he is in his career, versus Archer's interest in giving you what you might need in the more immediate sense?
Yeah, I think with somebody his age, you have to factor that in. Especially when it comes to the goaltender position, you do. I mean, there's a history of that. When you look at league as a whole, when you look at like the guys that have risen to the highest level of goaltending in the NHL, you can look at time that was spent there in the American League. He had a really good camp. I think he has an extremely, extremely bright future. So we're looking at what's obviously best right now. Also looking at things that are what's going to be best long term. We always have to be factoring those things in. What's going to be best for each person, and each person is different. And when you get into the goalies, there are probably some other factors that might make it a little bit more unique, and a little bit different. And so, I think from the onset, we did. That was the goal. We're going to be, we want people to come into this camp. We want people to push. We want people to earn things. And I think even for some of the players that we're not moving forward with currently, they did earn things. Even though they might not be as apparent as the ones that are still here. And so I think right now that's a decision that was made, and we think that's the best for right now.
Dan, in terms of filling out your blue line, from Harrison to Caleb Jones and Matt Doom, it seems like there's a lot of speed. Was that a particular emphasis for you in terms of constructing it?
No, I think we're looking at all things. It wasn't a situation where we came into this and we said we have to find this, so we have to we were and we would continue to be eyes wide open. In terms of what's going to be the best mix of players there for this group. And guys, you want some variety. You want guys that are complement each other. And at the end too, we want what we feel like is going to give us the best chance to win hockey games. And so those decisions are there. I mean, I don't disagree with you that there is a speed element there that could be added, but it wasn't something that we were going in there from the beginning looking for one particular trait in a player.
Dan, similar question to Sess about Sergey, but with Owen Pickering, is it most beneficial just for him to go work down in Wilkes-Barre? Is that mostly what goes into the decision for him to not start the season here?
I think again, you're looking at always a combination of things. We think that there's getting more time there right now, could benefit him long term, and I think it's also again, I think you had. That's not to take away from the defensemen that are currently here. This is the group that we feel like is again, how that changes night in, night out. We'll see. But this is the group that we feel like is going to give us the best opportunity to start the season the way we want to.
What are the combination of things that have Harrison Brunick and Ben Kindle, both teenagers, still here with the team at this point in time? What have you really liked about their games?
I mean, I think you saw it throughout camp. I mean, it's there wasn't a ton of off days or off times, for either guy. I think they both had moments too where, I mentioned it last night too, like you're going to be mistakes, there's going to be breakdowns, there's going to be things that don't go your way. It's more of like, what are they doing next? I think that's pretty telling there for a young player, is like, how are we going to react? How are we going to handle these types of situations? And so you're looking for those things, and I think, we didn't go into this camp by any means having, things etched in stone, or even putting guys, up on a board and saying this is what it's going to look like on day one. And like, there's still, things that we're going to factor. We still have another practice. We still have time even before, this roster is being submitted. But like there wasn't any of that. It's just we went through this process, they had opportunities, and we're looking for things, and they continued to check boxes that we were looking for, and they continued based on their play and their actions in both practices and games to tell us, like, you're going to need to put us in another game, and you're going to need to see us again, and you're going to need to continue to consider us. And they've done that on a consistent basis. And so we get to today, we still, again, this is where we're at, and they checked those boxes and they moved on to be at this point.
Sorry to be
Last
that
one
person.
from Cheryl.
Sorry. I feel like the players have all said, like, it's very clear how you want them to play, and it's been communicated really well. Just how would you sort of describe what you're looking for from the group in terms of how you want them to play each and every night?
Yeah, well, number one, I want us to play connected. I want us to play a game there, and that's on both sides of the puck. I think when you're connected defensively, there is a little bit more of a structure to it, in terms of how we pressure. But there's still reads to be made, and just that predictability of making those reads off of each other, being predictable to your teammates about where you're going to be, and playing in a way that we're taking away time and space at a very high rate. And so that's away from the puck, and then with the puck, we want to be connected in that predictability in our puck support, being able to play a fast game, being able to keep the puck, and I think just being connected really in all three zones, from our breakouts, through the neutral zone and into the offensive zone. And we still have work to be done there. I think you've seen definitely moments of it, but there's still work. And then lastly, we want to be really hard to play against. And you have to have connection to have that, but then you also have to have that compete from every person, and I think every person showing that in their own way. But we want to be a team that's night in, night out, we're going to be extremely hard to play against, and we're going to be very connected there on both sides of the puck.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Dan. Sorry for prolonging.